Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Dugout Daily. I'm Charlie, and I'm joined by Bernard and Jinder, who's a Leeds fan. How are you both?
Yeah,
Jinder,
very
you
well.
all right,
I'm good. I'm good. We'll get straight to it then. We'll start with you, Bernard, as the City fan. 7-0 last night against Leeds. Foden got one, Grealish got one, De Bruyne got two, Mahrez got one, Stones got one, and Nathan Ake got one. Thoughts on the performance last night, Bernard?
Well, the only thing we can say, at least it's nice to play a team that actually tries to play a bit of football, doesn't come to put 10 men behind the ball, which is what we get most weeks. Even with the Chelseas of this world, we get that. So, and Uniteds of this world, so Man Uniteds of this world. So yeah, it is nice to actually play, and it's nice to play a team that obviously Pep has a lot of respect for the guy Bielsa, doesn't it? And yeah, we'll go into the details of it. But as far as a footballing thing was concerned, it was sort of all over quite quickly, really. It was certainly within the first half, if not sooner, and it was damage limitation for Leeds. But unfortunately, they couldn't do that on the night because they still wanted to try and play the football the way they can play it. And with some injuries as well, they've got some key players missing. It was a bit of an uphill struggle once he let us get that early lead. And we know once City have got our tails up, we're very hard to pull back.
Yeah, and Jinder, as a Leeds fan last night, 7-0 defeat away at the Etihad. Thoughts on the performance for Leeds?
Yeah, the performance wasn't good. I mean, look, hands down, just echo what Charles had said. You guys are a different class, and for me, we've lost 7-0 to the champions. Obviously, you are the defending champions, but I think you're gonna win the league again, and I hope you do because you deserve it. The way you play football is just out of this world. And yesterday, every little thing clicked for you guys. It usually clicks week in, week out, but yesterday you were extra special. And there's no qualms about me saying that. 7-0 speaks for itself. You were the better team. It could have been 10, could have been 15-0. So fair play to you guys. And all I can say is best of luck. And I hope what I wish that you guys could have done last season, and I was rooting for you to win the Champions League, and I hope you guys can do that. And that'd be the icing on the cake for Pep Guardiola, because not only does he have respect for Bielsa, but I, as a fan of football, I have respect for Guardiola, and it's gone for a long time because the way he plays football is the best way, the correct way, and he's humble in defeat. He's respectful when he praises people, and all I can say is that you've got the right man, and you've got the right time to enjoy your football, and that's just the way it is.
Yeah. We'll go to the team news then. We'll start with us, Bernard. Kyle Walker was short of full fitness. That's why he wasn't in the squad. The team looked like this. It was Edison in goal, a back four of John Stones, Ruben Diaz, Emerick Laporte, and Zinchenko. Rodri was the holding midfielder with Bernardo and De Bruyne just ahead of him. Mahrez was on the right. Grealish was on the left, with Phil Foden in the false nine. Do you actually think Walker was lacking in match fitness, Bernard?
Well, we have to believe that's true, mate, don't we? But we know he was on the naughty step for the last game. Perhaps I wouldn't have thought Pep would totally drop him from the bench unless something's been said behind the scenes. But we won't know. We'll never know. We never do know these things, do we? But it was a little bit surprising. So you have to believe what we're told. But yeah, for that team, obviously the only other, obviously Stones was expected then to play a sort of right back, although we'd probably try and revert to three at the back most of the time anyway. And obviously I was a bit surprised Sterling didn't play, actually. I thought he'd worked his way back into Pep's good books, perhaps not the fans' good books, but I was a little surprised Sterling didn't start. But I wasn't unhappy about it. That was not a bad team.
Yeah. We'll go to you, Jinder. Leeds team looks like this. It was a Meslier in goal, a back four of Jamie Shackleton, Luke Ayling, Llorente, and Junior Firpo. The two in the middle was Adam Forshaw and Stuart Dallas. Rafinha was on the right. Former City man Jack Harrison was on the left, with Tyler Roberts just behind Daniel James. Leeds had many players missing last night, the likes of Patrick Bamford, Calvin Phillips as well. And they're two of Leeds' main players, aren't they? Bamford and Phillips.
Yeah, we're missing our captain Liam Cooper, Pascal Strike, Rodrigo. These Robin Cox injured. He's been injured most of the season. So when you take all those international players, which they all are, that's for a team that's depleted. And then if you look at our bench, it was very threadbare. We had a lot of youngsters on there, and like I said, that midfield just there, the midfield that you put up with your guys against ours, it was going to be difficult, and that's where I thought we lost the battle in the middle of the park. It was very, very hard, and you just couldn't contain it. And the injuries were lacking. But mind you, having said that, it's still quite a decent Leeds team.
That was a similar team to the Chelsea game, of course. I think
Yes.
Was it last night? Yeah, very similar. I mean, I did a prediction of the Leeds team in my little thing, and I got all 11 right. I don't know how I did that, but probably because you haven't got many options. I think that makes it easier when you've got injuries and players missing and stuff like that. But do you think there's a tiredness there, mate, as well? Even before kickoff, do you think there's a tiredness in the players because they're expected to play so much at the moment with the lack of squad depth apart from the youngsters, as you said?
In the Championship, we more or less played, Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday. So that could be one thing. As in, obviously, the Championship level to the Premier League is different. But on Saturday, it took a lot out of us, and you've got to look at it scientifically. Going from Leeds to London, Chelsea in London, then travelling back takes its toll, especially in the current climate that we're in. Maybe, everybody is uneasy with this new COVID variant running around as well. Mentally, that may have an impact on some of our players. But like I said, it's just when you're playing Chelsea and then you got to turn it on against Manchester City. And then we've got Arsenal on the weekend. After Arsenal, we've got Liverpool. And then
nice little run.
So it's gonna take its toll. But I think we were desperately unlucky against Chelsea, and we really gave it a good slog. And as long as if we'd lost 2-0, 3-0, hey ho, it's fine. It's helped Pep in his quest to get the league, because I don't want Chelsea winning it as a Leeds fan, and I'm not too fussed about Liverpool really, but still, it is. I think it was just too quick. The game just came too quick for us. The way you started off was just you just knocked us out straight away, and that was it. You just started early, and we could not recover. Fatigue, you say yes. I mean, obviously, for the lads, it's difficult playing at such a high level, considering we are all Championship players.
Yeah. We'll look at the stats then from last night's game. Quickly before that, we'll look at the weather conditions. 8 mile per hour winds, 9 degrees Celsius, 1% chance of rain last night. It was very mild for December actually last night.
Yeah.
The stats look like this. We had 64% possession, Leeds with 36%. 31 shots to 6, 15 shots on target to 3, 9 shots off target to 2, 7 block shots to 1, 6 corners to 2, 1 offside to none, 5 fouls to 9, 1 yellow card each, 4 big chances to none, 3 big chances missed to none. Leeds hit the woodwork once, 1 counter-attack to none, 1 counter-attack shot to none, 17 shots inside the box to 2. 14 shots outside the box to 4. Edison had to make 3 saves. Meslier had to make 8. 608 passes to 338. 92% accurate passes to 81%. 67% accurate long balls to 39%. 35% accurate crosses to 17%. 55% successful dribbles for us. 73% for Leeds. We lost the ball 90 times. Leeds lost the ball 98 times. 46 duels won to 31. 8 aerial duels 1 to 4, 12 tackles to 15, 9 interceptions to 7, and 12 clearances to 13. We'll go to you first, Bernard. Do you think those stats represent the game?
Yeah, I mean, it's not often we get 30 plus chances in a game. And to be honest, to get 50% on target, it's pretty good for us. We usually average about 35%, something like that. So it was all sort of not going to go well for Leeds, was it? It was sort of hitting the target a little bit more than we perhaps normally would. But yeah, I think that's a fair reflection on what happened on the night. As I say, it did have that feel from the get-go that City were up for this one. I mean, certain players that have not been doing great, we'll go on to the players later, we're sort of back on form for this one. We've had a few players slightly off colour, but sadly for Leeds, some of those players seem to start hitting the straps again last night. So yeah, it was a fair reflection, I think, overall.
Yeah, and Jinder, do you think those stats represented the game fairly?
No, we were absolutely the best team there. No. The stats don't lie. I mean, it's like Charles has just said. You guys were just bang on form. 31 shots. It's incredible. That is. I didn't even look at the stats at the end of it, Charlie. But it's the rundown that you've gave. It was a comprehensive victory. You can't lie there.
Yeah. We'll look at this attack momentum graph, which we do every game, me and Bernard. It actually looked better than most teams who play against us, to be honest. This graph, doesn't it, Bernard?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Jinder there. Well, I mean, we're used to seeing this against teams, but at least we've got a bit of Leeds blue in that second half. I must admit, the first half, Leeds was sort of shooting up the other end from where I stand. So, but I didn't, and that sort of clarifies the fact I don't remember Edison having too much to do. But certainly, when they were shooting down our end, at least he had 2 or 3 opportunities. But yeah, it's probably a little bit bigger than it normally is for City, but yeah, that is normal standard for City at the Etihad. That's even away from home, we're a bit like that, but certainly normal for us anyway. That.
Yeah, and Jinder, do you think this graph represents the game fairly?
Oh wow, yeah, definitely. I mean, look, I didn't even think Leeds had that much attacking, endeavour, but we did. To lose two goals that came very early on, 2-0 head start to give to a world-class side. It was going to be an uphill battle. Once those 2 went in, that was it. The timing of your goals were, they were killer blows, really. One after the other. Then the third one coming in, but and then in the second half, it was just a barrage of goals, weren't they?
Yeah, definitely. The next thing we'll look at is actually the players. We'll start with you, Bernard. Edison, first up. 3 saves, 1 successful run out of 1 save from inside the box, 45 touches, 100% accurate passes, 3 out of 3 accurate long balls. And yeah, that's it. He didn't have much to do last night, to be honest, did he, Edison?
No, I don't think you would have got to the goal, the one that glanced the post. I think it's from Dallas, wasn't it? In the second half, he wouldn't have done anything. That had been another 2 or 3 inches the other side. It would have been a goal for Leeds at that stage, and he couldn't have done much better with that. But very quiet for Edison. What can you say? You can't really, as a rating, I just give him a bog standard rate because he didn't really have that much to do. It's just so very, very quiet last night.
Yeah, and Jinder, we'll go to you with Ilham Meslier. We're just going to get his stats here. So 90 minutes played, 8 saves, 4 saves from inside the box, 55 touches, 67% accurate passes, 2 accurate long balls out of 14, 1 clearance, and yeah. What did you think of Ilham Meslier last night, Jinder?
Yeah, he was just there. He was just trying to keep the score down, wasn't he? Poor old lad. I think he tried his level best. I mean, even if the Stones goal, he made 1 point blank save, then another one, and then another one. So you could just see it was very, very difficult. And by then the heads had dropped and everything. So one thing about Meslier, he's a good shot stopper, and he's only a young lad, and he needs. It's good experience for him, playing against quality like that, and for him to get a few saves from players of that ilk is, it's not bad going for him.
Yeah, we've actually got a stat on Meslier and Edison from last night's game. Ilham Meslier has conceded as many Premier League goals last night at the Etihad as Edison has in the last 9 months. That tells you how dominated it was for us, really. So we'll go to the right backs for last night. We'll go back to you, of course, Bernard. It was actually John Stones at right back. He scored the goal. He scored one of many goals, 3 clearances, 2 interceptions, 1 tackle, 1 out of 2 ground duels were won, 3 out of 3 aerial duels were won. 4 times he lost the possession, 36 touches, 88% accurate passes, none out of 2 accurate long balls, 2 shots on target, none out of 1 successful dribble attempts, and 1 big chance missed. And a stat here on John Stones, he's now got more Premier League goals in 2021 than Anthony Martial. So how do you think John Stones played last night?
Yeah, it's funny actually. If we had a weakness last night, and even during the game, I got a better view in the second half because he was defending at our end, but he was a bit confused at times. He's not used to playing in that position. If Leeds were going to do anything, they should have really sort of loaded that left-hand side, because that was where our weakness was with John Stones. As I said, they didn't get, you've got to get hold of the ball and do it to get it. So it's no easy thing to do anyway. But John Stones did look a little bit out of it. I saw him glancing over his shoulder a couple of times, panicking, wondering what was going on around him. So he was a bit of a loss at some times. But that goal, I mean, obviously, I don't regret. Jinder remembers a Trevor Cherry for Leeds United back in the old days, and I sort of said, well, he needed 2 bites of the old Trevor Cherry with that one, so that was on my groaning things that I did, obviously on my thing. But I mean, he took the goal well. I mean, he hit it with his right, a great save from the keeper. Then he battered it with his left. So that was fantastic from John Stones. It's nice to see him get a goal because he's a good lad. We all like John Stones at our place, even though Pep just falls out with him occasionally. But he had a good game, but not defensively particularly, just going forward as most of the defence did, I think. So a good game, a great goal.
Yeah, we'll go to you again, Jinder, with Jamie Shackleton. He had to go off after 38 minutes due to an injury. 1 clearance, 2 block shots, 1 tackle, dribble past ones, 1 out of 2 ground duels were won, none out of 1 aerial duels were won, 15 touches, 100% accurate passes. Thoughts on Shackleton while he was on the pitch, Jinder?
Yeah, he tried his best. Got injured sort of 30th minute or something like that. Yeah. Another injury, another problem, and he was just there, weren't he? He was just part of the whole show. Not most of the boys were. I think with Shackleton, he didn't do too bad. First 30 minutes or so, he kept a hold of the ball. He was trying his level best. You can't fault him for any of the goals when he was on. And I think I'd agree with what the stats are saying. 6.3. Yeah, that will do for me.
Yeah. We'll go to the centre backs. We'll start with R2, Bernard. It was Ruben Diaz and Emerick Laporte. We'll start with Ruben Diaz. He went off after 65 minutes. 1 block shot, 1 out of 1 aerial duels were won. Twice he lost the possession. 67 touches, 97% accurate passes. 1 out of 2 accurate long balls as well. Thoughts on Ruben Diaz's performance, Bernard?
Yeah, I think he's going to be the same with all the defence, to be honest with you. I think the sort of when Leeds tried to get through the midfield, they were sort of tended to lose it midfield. It never really troubled the back line that much, and Jazz just ended up going on forays forward into Leeds territory, I think, which I think he thoroughly enjoyed on the night, and that was just one of those things to get involved in the game. But I think that them stats show he didn't really have a lot to do, unfortunately, as far as Leeds were concerned. He didn't have enough to do, unfortunately, but he was fine, absolutely fine in what he had to do.
Yeah, and then next to him was Emerick Laporte. He was on the pitch for the full game. 1 clearance, 2 tackles, 2 out of 3 ground duels were won. 6 times he lost to possession, 108 touches, 95% accurate passes, 1 key pass, 5 out of 6 accurate long balls, 1 shot on target, 1 shot off target, none out of 1 successful dribble attempts, and 1 big chance missed. Thoughts on Laporte last night, Bernard?
Yeah, I mean, he's a bit more mobile, isn't he? So when he was allowed to get up, if you think of that John Stones goal, I think it was Laporte who'd headed it in the first place, hadn't he? And was saved again before it went out to Stones. So, yeah, again, he just enjoyed himself sort of putting the ball through and acting sort of bit Cancelo-like, I suppose, last night, a bit more productive in that sort of aspect of it. And they say he just enjoyed moving a bit more into Leeds territory than he normally would in a game. He'd usually be a bit more central.
Yeah, definitely. We'll go to the 2 Leeds centre backs then. Luke Ayling being the first one. 1 clearance, 4 block shots, 1 interception, 1 tackle, dribble pass once. 2 out of 3 ground duels were won. 1 out of 1 aerial duels were won. 9 times he lost to possession. 63 touches, 83% accurate passes, 1 key pass, 6 out of 10 accurate long balls, and 1 out of 1 successful dribble attempts. Thoughts on Luke Ayling last night, Jinder?
Yeah, Luke Ayling, he tried his best, didn't he? You know, he was just trying to keep it down. He was the standing captain, trying to lead by example. You know, he was just trying to rally the boys on, and that's all you can do when you're that many goals down. And yeah, he tried his hardest. Again, he was playing out of position. He's not a centre back by trade. He plays right back, but due to our injury crisis, we have to play him in the centre of our defence.
Yeah, and his centre back partner last night, Diego Llorente. 1 clearance, 1 block shot, 1 interception, dribble pass once, 1 error that led to a shot. None out of 2 ground duels were won. None out of 2 aerial duels were won. 4 times he lost to possession. 1 foul, 49 touches, 91% accurate passes, 7 out of 8 accurate long balls as well. Thoughts on Llorente last night, Jinder?
Yeah, I think out of our back line, Llorente is our natural centre back, and usually he's quite solid on the ball and stuff like that. But yesterday he was really off the pace, a lot of wayward passes. The way you guys pressed him, especially, you know, it was hard for him as well. And usually he's composed on the ball, or you know, he tends to look up, and a lot of it was our centre backs were trying to get the ball, and then trying to look up and try and play. Leeds did try and play, but the thing was just up top we had nothing going for us. It was, you know, every time the centre backs, both of them, Ayling and Llorente, looked up, there was nothing to be seen in the midfield and in the attacking third. It was just, you know, the door was shut, and Llorente suffered, and he a couple of passes he tried, they got intercepted as well. You know, some wayward passes he made as well, and that's down to the way you guys pressed.
Yeah, definitely. We'll move to the left backs then. For us, it was Alexander Zinchenko. 3 clearances, 1 interception, 4 tackles, 6 out of 9 ground duels were won, 1 out of 4 aerial duels were won. 12 times he lost the possession, 2 fouls, 66 touches, 79% accurate passes, 2 out of 4 accurate long balls, and 2 out of 3 successful dribble attempts. Thoughts on Zinchenko last night, Bernard?
Yeah, he wasn't expansive as he can be playing that position, but he certainly enjoyed himself again. And I think the same problem we had against Wolves, if Leeds had perhaps targeted that back post where Zinchenko's supposed to be, he can't win headers, so they might have got some joy there as well if they had a go at that. So they could have targeted Stones and Zinchenko, but as we said before, they have to get the ball first. But that's not no easy achievement. But yeah, I think Zinchenko enjoyed himself as well in that sort of normal role, but he does have his weaknesses, but he does his job when he comes in.
Yeah, and for Leeds, At left back was Junior Firpo. His stats were like this: 73 minutes played, one clearance, one dribble pass once, 1 out of 4 ground duels were won. 5 times he lost the possession, 2 fouls, 28 touches, 79% accurate passes, one key pass, and 1 out of 1 successful dribble attempts. Thoughts on Junior Firpo last night, Jinder?
Yeah, he was lucky to be on the pitch really, because he picked up a yellow card in the first half, and then second half he sort of pushed Grealish, I think, and he struggled, didn't he? It was very hard for Junior Firpo to cope with the Manchester City attack, and you could tell that it was this game's a bit beyond him. Yeah, he just it wasn't a very good day for him.
Yeah, we'll move into midfield then. First of all, we'll talk about Rodri. In the middle, 56 minutes played. He got an assist, 42 touches, 100% accurate passes, 4 key passes, 2 out of 2 accurate long balls, none out of 2 successful dribble attempts, 1 out of 5 ground duels were won. 4 times he lost the possession, 1 foul, 1 tackle, and dribble pass once. Thoughts on Rodri last night, Bernard?
We're running out of superlatives at the moment. I mean, he wasn't perfect by any means, and he could do a little bit better, perhaps in ground duels, stuff like that occasionally. But again, we say he's a big lad anyway, but he just stands out. He just stands out in that middle of the pitch, and he tries, and he bosses it at most games, not just Leeds, but most of the teams we've played recently. He sort of roams around and bosses it, makes the odd mistake, but you'd expect that with a big lad anyway. But yeah, I mean, we're running out of the fact of how well Rodri's playing at the moment. Another good game from him.
Yeah, and for Leeds, Adam Forshaw was in there with, of course, Calvin Phillips missing out. Some stats on him: 36 touches, 87% accurate passes, none out of 2 accurate long balls, 1 shot on target, 1 out of 5 ground duels were won. 5 times he lost the possession, 1 foul, 2 interceptions, 1 tackle, dribble pass twice, and 1 error that led to a shot. Thoughts on Adam Forshaw last night, Jinder?
Yeah, he was given a difficult task in that CDM position, which Calvin Phillips does so effectively. But Forshaw is still a decent player. But look, he was like all the Leeds players. It just couldn't get going. My response is more or less the same, but that's the plain truth of it. I mean, sometimes he did do something decent with the ball, but there was nothing to shout about him.
Yeah. On to KDB next, Bernard. Pep said about KDB, we need him. We've been together for 6 seasons. What he has done for me is amazing. Step by step, he will come back. He struggled at the start of the season. He lost rhythm with COVID, and hopefully now he continues this rhythm. That goal, the second goal, when the shot was at 50 miles per hour as well. And he's now been directly involved in 80 goals in just 83 Premier League starts at the Etihad Stadium, scoring 30 and assisting 50. His stats look like this: he scored a brace, 77 touches, 82% accurate passes, 4 key passes, none out of 4 accurate crosses, 1 out of 2 accurate long balls, 1 big chance created, 4 shots on target, 3 shots off target, 2 shots blocked, 2 out of 2 successful dribble attempts, 5 out of 5 ground duels were won, 14 times he lost the possession, was fouled once, 1 clearance, 1 interception, and 2 tackles. Thoughts on KDB last night, Bernard?
Well, this sadly for Leeds, this was the game he decided to suddenly hit a bit of form. Let's face it, he's been struggling a little bit, but you can't say anything about last night. He looked like the old KDB we know and love, of course, last night. And sadly for Leeds, he just chose this game like most of the players. As a team, I think we were exceptional last night, and he was no exception to that. He was certainly, I won't say he was my man of the match, but he was certainly up there as my City man of the match anyway. But yes, sad for Leeds that he found last night to suddenly realise what a great player he is and start showing it again, which he did. I was like, it's only one game, but hey, onwards and upwards, hopefully.
Yeah. And then next up, Bernardo Silva. Pep said Bernardo had muscular niggles, no injury, but he was a little bit uncomfortable. So at 3-0 at half-time, there was no risk needed. So we went off at half-time, 41 touches, 94% accurate passes, 1 key pass, 1 out of 1 accurate long balls, 1 shot off target, 1 out of 2 successful dribble attempts, 1 big chance missed, 4 out of 8 ground duels were won, 1 out of 1 aerial duels were won, 3 times he lost a possession, was fouled once, 2 tackles and dribbled past 3 times. Thoughts on Bernardo last night?
Well, if Pep makes a substitution at half time, it's obviously never going to be tactical with Pep because he doesn't do that. So we knew there was a problem with Bernardo. I mean, some people thought it was. I thought that was one of his weaker games for City last night. He missed a goal right at the start after about 4 minutes, 5 minutes with his wrong foot, admittedly. But we never got that on Saturday. No, I've been shouting from the rooftops about him being our best finisher for the last few weeks, and he goes and does something like that. But yeah, not quite at it, and we can probably, these niggles keep coming, don't they? He keeps mentioning this word niggles now, but I knew must have been something wrong because it wasn't quite at it, but he was still very, very good. Don't get me wrong, but you could just sense it wasn't quite right. But yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, it's nothing too serious, and yeah, he did okay for the 45 minutes he was on.
Yeah, we'll go back to you then, Jinder. Next up, Stuart Dallas. He had these stats: 54 touches, 77% accurate passes, none out of 2 accurate crosses, 1 out of 1 accurate long balls, 1 shot off target, 1 out of 2 successful dribble attempts, hit the woodwork once, 6 out of 14 ground duels were won, none out of 2 aerial duels were won, 13 times he lost a possession, 2 fouls, 5 tackles, dribbled past 3 times and 1 error that led to a goal. Thoughts on Stuart Dallas last night, Jinder?
Yeah, he was another one who couldn't cope with in midfield. It was difficult. Then when the change came, when Shackleton got injured, he moved over to right back, trying to just sort of, he was just trying to do his level best just to keep the score down. The error, I feel sorry for him. Could have, it was just one of them. They could not get his feet together. Could he? It just happened so quick. Yeah, it was just there, wasn't
it? Yeah. Big up Ankit in the chat as well. Next person we're going to talk about is Tyler Roberts. His stats look like this: 39 touches, 86% accurate passes, none out of 1 accurate long balls, 1 shot on target, 2 out of 2 successful dribble attempts, 6 out of 6 ground duels were won, none out of 1 aerial duels were won, 5 times he lost a possession, he was fouled twice, 3 clearances, 1 interception and 2 tackles. Thoughts on Tyler Roberts last night?
Yeah, he tried hard. He did. I mean, last couple of games, barring this Manchester City game, he's really sort of, really trying to take his stake, claim his sort of spot up front with the absence of Bamford and Rodrigo. So he's finally got a chance, and he tried his best. I mean, there was a couple of times where he carried the ball, he won a few free kicks. He did try, and that he was one of the ones that did sort of, that you felt that he got the ball, he might do something, but then again, it was just he'd done so much, and then you guys shut him out. There was no getting past that defence.
Yeah.
He'd run into somebody or another, and and that was it.
Yeah. We'll go back to you then, Bernard. Next up, Riyad Mahrez. That was actually his 100th Premier League appearance for City last night. He capped that off with a goal and an assist. 69 touches, 87% accurate passes, 4 key passes, 3 out of 7 accurate crosses, 1 big chance created, 3 shots on target, 1 shot off target, 1 shot blocked, 5 out of 8 successful dribble attempts, 6 out of 11 ground duels were won, 16 times he lost the possession. He was fouled once, 2 interceptions, and dribbled past twice. Thoughts on Mahrez's performance, Bernard?
Yeah, he got a bit lucky with the goal. Obviously, it took a wicked deflection past the Leeds keeper. He had no chance with that. Obviously, once it, I think it was it Dallas it hit. I'm not sure who it deflected off. To be honest with you, I actually did have it written down. Yeah, Junior Firpo, it's Firpo, wasn't it? It deflected off, took a little deflection off Firpo going through. So, but apart from that, he looked all right. I think when City are firing, you can usually rely on Mahrez to be up there with the rest of the guys, and that's what happened last night. Sometimes you want him to step up a little bit when we're not as firing as much, and he sometimes seems to let himself down and us down. But when the whole team's playing well, it lifts Mahrez up to another level. So yeah, he some good contribution last night. So yeah, he has to be happy with his performance.
Yeah. We'll go back to you, Jinder. Next up is Rafinha. He had 49 touches, 62% accurate passes, 1 out of 1 accurate crosses, none out of 4 accurate long balls, 1 out of 2 successful dribble attempts, 3 out of 10 ground duels were won, 3 out of 3 aerial duels were won, 20 times he lost the possession, 1 foul, was fouled once, 3 clearances, 1 interception, 2 tackles, and dribbled past 3 times. Thoughts on Rafinha's performance last night?
Yeah, he was very quiet. I mean, what could he do? He can't do anything. One man can't beat 10 players, can he? So, he was quiet. I think the Pep Guardiola's tactics were spot on how to contain him, and he was quite contained. And that is the quietest I've seen Rafinha all season. So fair play to him, to Manchester City in containing him, because that guy can change games. He certainly can do for us. But yesterday it was he found it very hard.
Yeah, we'll go over to the left-hand side. For us, it was Jack Grealish, of course. That was his first goal in 13 games for us, Jack Grealish. Of course, he got the goal, 64 touches, 95% accurate passes, 1 key pass, 2 shots on target, 1 shot blocked, 4 out of 6 successful dribble attempts, 7 out of 11 ground duels were won. None out of 1 aerial duels were won. 8 times he lost the possession. 1 foul, was fouled 3 times. 1 clearance, 1 interception, and he was dribbled past once. Thoughts on Grealish's performance, Bernard?
Yeah, well, he meant it last night, to be honest with you. I mean, I think that was his first header in the top division as well. First time he scored with his head, I think, in the top division of English football. So, and he looked a bit quicker last night. He looked as though he was a little bit lively. I sort of said he must have been training with Moonchester, because he's quite nippy. Moonchester, the mascot. So I thought he must have been training alongside him for his sprinting, because he did seem a yard quicker last night, to be honest with you. He was certainly up for it. I was surprised VAR didn't get involved when he fouled Laporte to get that header, to be honest with you. He knocked him over. He was that keen to get to it. I think he sent Laporte flying, didn't he, in the box. But no, I'm glad for him. You know me, I stick up for him. He's getting a lot of stick unfairly, getting a lot of stick from City fans unfairly, in my opinion. It's early days in his career with City. He's got a lot to learn. Pep is a hard taskmaster. He's a hard manager to play for. And I was thoroughly delighted for Grealish last night. As I said, the whole team played well, and as such, he did as well. I was dead happy for him.
Yeah, and another Jack was on the left-hand side for Leeds. This time it was Jack Harrison, the former City man. 28 touches, 82% accurate passes, 1 key pass, none out of 2 accurate crosses, 1 shot on target, 1 shot blocked, none out of 3 ground duels were won, none out of 2 aerial duels were won. 9 times he lost the possession, 1 clearance, and he was dribbled past once. Thoughts on Jack Harrison's performance, Jinder?
Yeah, I think he was one of our sort of, shining light really in the second half. He was trying to go for you guys. Maybe it was the old club he wanted to just show that, playing against my former club, so he had a bit between his teeth. But yeah, Jack Harrison was one of our. I disagree with that 5.8 rating. I think he was one of our better ones, because if Tyler Roberts has got like a 6.6 or something like that, I'm sure Harrison was up there. But yeah, he tried to do it. Just sometimes we find with Jack Harrison, his final ball is not always there. But he's got some tricks up his sleeve. He's a good player. We got him at a good price from yourselves, and if you can send 1 or 2 more our way, we'd like it.
Yeah. And then next up, we will go to Phil Foden in the false 9 role. 1 goal, 1 assist, 1 shot on target, 2 shots off target, 3 shots blocked, 3 out of 4 successful dribble attempts, 77 touches, 90% accurate passes, 5 key passes, 2 out of 5 accurate crosses, 1 out of 2 accurate long balls, 4 out of 6 ground duels were won, 1 out of 1 aerial duels were won. 11 times he lost the possession. He was fouled once, 1 offside, 1 clearance, 1 interception, and he was dribbled past once. Thoughts on Foden's performance, Bernard?
Yeah, I mean, similar to KDB, we've been waiting for him to come back to a little bit of form. He's had a few problems, injuries, a few niggles, as Pep would say. But again, last night, a little bit fortunate with the goal. He sort of got it on. All I asked our players to do is get the ball on target. He sort of came back to him at a sort of awkward height, and he just put his sort of side-footed it back, and obviously lad on the line couldn't do anything apart from slice it into the net, unfortunately. So he did get a little bit lucky with that, but much better from Foden last night. I think we all think he's not been 100% recently anyway, but he certainly looked more like his old self last night. So like KDB, let's hope it's the start of him coming back into what we know we can do.
Yeah, and for Leeds, up front was Daniel James, the former United man. His stats were like this. He went off at half-time, 13 touches, 78% accurate passes, none out of 1 accurate crosses, none out of 1 ground duels were won. 4 times he lost a possession and 1 clearance. How do you think he played, Jinder?
Yeah, there was no service for Daniel James, but I'm astounded that he got that rating. There was no real movement from him. It was, you didn't even know that he was on the pitch. When he got subbed off, it was, yeah, okay. I didn't even realise that he was the one who got subbed off. So very non-existent. It's been a bit underwhelming, really. I wasn't too keen him coming from Manchester United. I don't like any players from there. I don't think you guys, you share the same sentiments. But it's just like buying Lee Sharp all over again with Dan James, I'm afraid.
Yeah. We'll go through the substitutes then. We'll start with City, of course, as the home team. Ilkay Gundogan was the first sub. He came on at half-time. His stats look like this. 2 assists, 38 touches, 91% accurate passes, 2 key passes, 1 shot on target, 1 shot off target, none out of 1 successful dribble attempts, 1 out of 2 ground duels were won. 4 times he lost a possession and he was fouled once. Thoughts on Gundogan's performance, Bernard?
Yeah, what I like about Gundogan is that obviously, I always say Gundogan, but I know it's probably not pronounced like that. It's just habit. I can't help it. But again, he's another one. He hasn't been playing great, but last night he did sort of the simple things. He moved the ball very quickly. Once he got the ball, he moved at least a couple of those where he moved it on for a scoring opportunity and probably a goal or 2 as well. And he just gets the ball around and he just moved it on very quickly. And that's what we want. It's totally different player to Bernardo, of course, who he replaced at half-time. But again, another guy who's not been fantastic, I don't think, the last few games. But I was well happy. He just did the simple things, and he did the simple things well, and that's what we want. And perhaps the odd goal or two will be nice occasionally from him now. But apart from that was a good display last night.
Yeah. And the second sub was Fernandinho. He was on the pitch for 34 minutes, 23 touches, 75% accurate passes, 2 key passes, 1 out of 1 accurate crosses, 1 big chance created, 1 out of 2 ground duels were won, 5 times he lost a possession, 1 foul, was fouled once, 1 interception. Thoughts on Fernandinho last night, Bernard?
Yeah, I think when you come on with a guy with his experience, you come on at 4-0 up. You can't do that much wrong, can you? You just slotted into that mid position where Rodri had been, etc., and just played his normal game that we know he can play. And say there's no real pressure on, was there, at that stage? So yeah, he did exactly what I thought he would do. Just a nice, steady hand in the middle there.
Yeah, and the final sub for us was Nathan Ake. He was on the pitch for 25 minutes. He scored the 7th goal, 2 clearances, none out of 1 ground duels were won, 1 out of 1 aerial duels were won. Once he lost a possession, 39 touches, 100% accurate passes, and 1 shot on target with none out of 1 successful dribble attempts. Thoughts on Nathan Ake while he was on the pitch last night, Bernard?
Yeah, good goal. I mean, obviously, probably Leeds defence might be asking a few questions as to for that header. To be honest, he's not the tallest lad, is he? But we know he can get to these crosses. His heading's not great sometimes in attack. It sort of he misses more than he scores. That's for sure. But again, he just thrived. He just enjoyed it, and it was great to see him get that goal again for him more than anybody else, as well as the team, of course. But yeah, he did what he had to do in that short length of time he came on. I don't think he very rarely lets us down when he comes on as a sub anyway, and to get a goal was a nice bonus for him.
Yeah. Next up, we'll go on to the Leeds subs. First sub was Joe Gelhardt. He came on at half-time for Daniel James. 1 out of 2 successful dribble attempts, 18 touches, 89% accurate passes, none out of 1 accurate long balls, 4 out of 7 ground duels were won, 4 times he lost the possession. He was fouled twice, 1 tackle, and he was dribbled past once. Thoughts on Joe Gelhardt while he was on the pitch, Jinder?
Yeah, I like him. I like Joe Gelhardt. He's young. He's got good feet on him. He's clever with the ball. He's got a good build on him, and I think he's one for the future. And when he came on, I think he done what he could. Kept a hold of the ball, won 1 or 2 free kicks. Strong on the ball, which is good, and it was good experience for him to play at the Etihad in front of lots of fans and play against top class players.
Yeah. Next up, we'll talk about Cody Drammer. Let me just get his stats up here. One moment. Cody Drammer, his stats look like this then. He was on the pitch for 17 minutes, dribbled past once, none out of 1 ground duels were won. He lost the possession twice, 8 touches, 83% accurate passes, 1 key pass as well. Thoughts on Cody Drammer last night, but Jinder?
Yeah, Charlie, he came on and he tried his best, didn't he? And I don't remember him doing that much in effect, but you've just read out the stats where he done a key pass. Yeah, like I said, he's under 23 lad, and just come on. I think Bielsa just wanted to give him a bit of an experience, and rest a few of our I don't know who he came on for. At that time, I was really distraught and very very unhappy. So I was just trying to see the game out. I was looking more at the clock than drama coming on. But it's good experience for him to come on.
Yeah. Matt from Football United TV says Pep looks up to Bielsa. If Marcelo had a decent team like City or Chelsea, he would be known as the GOAT. but because he's at Leeds, he only works on budgets. He can't reciprocate that idea. Next up, I forgot to talk about him, to be honest, but Mattis Click came on for Jamie Shackleton after 38 minutes. So he was on the pitch for 52 minutes, 32 touches, 83% accurate passes, one shot off target, 1 out of 1 successful dribble attempts, 3 out of 7 ground duels were won, 6 times he lost a possession, 2 fouls, 1 interception, 2 tackles, and he was dribbled past twice. Thoughts on Mateus Click last night, Jinder?
Yeah, I like Click. I've liked him for years, and I think he should have started in reality. But yeah, he brings that experience, Polish international, strong player, and he's a good lad. He always gives his best, and yeah, I'm glad he played well, as best as he could, and he came up in the midfield. Tried to shore it up as best as he could.
Yeah. Next up, we'll go to the managers. So we'll go to you, Bernard. For Pep, just first, we have a few quotes. Pep said it was a good game. The vibe of the stadium was phenomenal. It was sold out today, and when that happens, the players feel it. Thank you so much to all of them, and producing this performance today was a pleasure. He also said he loves to watch Leeds play football when he can. And 500 Premier League goals under Pep Guardiola. I think that was after the first or the second goal. But I think he's the quickest manager in Premier League history to do that. So how do you think Pep did last night, Bernard?
Yeah, as I said, we don't know what's happened with Walker, whether there is a fallout there behind the scenes. We're not too sure, are we? But yeah, I think it was the first goal. It was 499, wasn't it? So the very first goal made it 500 last night. But yeah, that's how it's been. Say certainly this season we've not been scoring the goals, and then people have been looking at the fact we've not got the striker. But obviously after last night, it's hard to quibble, isn't it? But we will go back to it. We will be going back to it in the future. We need a striker. But yeah, I think given the guys we've got available, tactically bringing Bernard off at half time because he obviously had a niggle, stuff like that. He did everything right, and he was happy with it. He was happy with the crowd. He was happy with himself. He's happy with Leeds. He's happy with Bielsa. I mean, I think he enjoys things like that, where it's a tactical battle with another man who perhaps hasn't got the ammunition Pep's got, but he enjoys those sort of head-on meetings. And I say, I'm sure he's not embarrassed at the end of the day, but obviously it would have. I'm sure it's 7-0. I'm sure he comforted, Bielsa. Looked a bit upset, as you're bound to be, but I'm sure Pep had some kind words to say to him off the pitch after the game, etc. And I think Bielsa said Leeds had played poorly, which is worst they'd played for 4 years. But I think there's reasons for that, and obviously you can't take away from the fact City played very, very well, and Pep seemed to have him fired up last night. And I say that the crowd helped. We were talking off camera. The atmosphere was excellent last night, so that all helped make it into. It's a shame it perhaps couldn't have been like 7-4 or something like that. Something a bit more even. But no complaints with Pep, and I'm sure he enjoyed it and had a good night on the old wine afterwards at his local, one of his restaurants.
Yeah. We'll go to you then, Jinder, for Marcelo Bielsa. Was he too stubborn? Should he have changed it earlier on? Maybe shut up shop when it was 3 or 4-0 at halftime?
See, the thing is, a lot of people have been saying, so I've been listening to it on the radio. Oh, Bielsa's this, he ain't got no plan B. But the thing is, plan B, we don't need a plan B. We just do plan A and just try and do that better. If we had come up and shut up shop, like most teams do at Manchester City, what happens? It still ends up 5-0, or 4-0. Liverpool, you stuffed Liverpool, and they've got lots and lots of talent. So I'd rather play the Bielsa way and get a pasting, because at the start of the game, I wasn't expecting to beat Manchester City. I wasn't going to expect. So if we did give it a go and we've lost, so be it. as long as Bielsa is with us, that's our ace up our sleeve. And for me, that guy cannot do anything wrong. And okay, if we get the worst comes to worst and we get relegated and Bielsa takes us down, well, what a journey it's been. We've had 4 years of some wonderful football. Last season, we done really, really well after 16 years of being out of the Premier League to just be here and play against, the likes of Manchester City and Liverpool and Chelsea and all that. It's just to be in amongst that. It's fine. And football comes in circles and lifespans and this, that, the other. So this is a circle where at this precise moment for Leeds United, we're the underdogs and we're trying our level best just to sort of get ourselves in there. And on the other hand, you've got the Kings here, and Manchester City, Chelsea, and a few 20, 30 years ago, it was different for Chelsea, for Man City, and Leeds were in that position. So this is all. It's all football, and it's the way football is. And you don't want knee-jerk reactions. There's no need to sack a manager. There's no loss. There's no shame in losing to Pep Guardiola, somebody who actually loves Bielsa, who actually enjoys his football philosophy. He enjoys Leeds, and there's no shame in losing like this. Yeah, like Charles was saying that if we had some players, then definitely we could have put up a fight. Like last season, we played a wonderful game against you guys at Ellen Road, and it was it was toe to toe. It was proper. You hit one and we hit one. It was an entertaining draw, and so it's just one of them things that. Yesterday it was Manchester City's night, and the golfing class was different. Men against boys, yes, it was. And but like I said, a lot of respect for your team, and like I said, I wish you all the best in winning the league.
Yeah. We'll ask you then, Jinder. You said it was our night, but how do you think we played overall?
How do you think you played? You were fantastic, brilliant.
Yeah. Same question for you, Bernard, but the other way around. How do you think Leeds played last night?
I'll say they felt like Pep is identical to Bielsa. Say we whinge about not having a plan B, but Pep's the same philosophy. Plan A usually does it for us, so he doesn't need a plan B. That's why he never makes substitutions normally, because the guys on the pitch, he expects them to do the job, and I think probably Bielsa is very, very similar, and he doesn't have to make these. We're used to Mancini, he used to drag people off after 30 minutes and stuff like that, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, because it's not working. But Pep's like that. He sends a team out, and Bielsa's the same. He'll send the team out. He's got probably if he had a full squad to pick from, that would be a totally different team. They wouldn't be sitting where they are now. What is it, 16th, something like that, 5 points above the relegation zone. If they had the squad they had last year, they would be doing a lot better. They'll get guys back. It might be hard work. There's a few long-term injuries and stuff, but and they want to play football, so that's what we want to see. That's what we see in the football, whatever division. We want to see teams who like to play football. We want to see managers that are willing to play football. And as Jinder said there, the game at Ellen Road last year was fantastic. I mean, I think City dominated like 20 minutes that first half, and then. Wow, as he said, it was total. We were sort of City fans going, well, "Come on, guys! We weren't allowed. We weren't allowed to do what we normally do because Leeds wouldn't let us do it." So, they'll come back. I say they've got a few problems at the moment, but if he carries on, I'm sure there's not going to be any knee-jerk reactions as far as the manager's concerned. He's going to stay there, and I think they've got some difficult games coming up. They could be by the end of, as Jinder was saying, by January, they might even be in the relegation zone if things don't work out. But with the games being cancelled left, right, and centre now because of this COVID thing, I mean, it's all going to be a bit bitty anyway, and you don't really want that. You want consistency. You want teams of playing the same sort of games and stuff like that. But it should be okay. I did a thing last week on teams to get relegated. I certainly never thought in my mind Leeds Leeds would be amongst those who'll get relegated. But as I say, he gets 1 or 2 players back. You'll see a big difference. He'll be fine. Or, as I said, at least they came to the Etihad and had a go. And what more can we say? That's football. That's what football. I don't mind defensive. I don't mind tactical battles. I don't mind that at all. There's a way of doing it. But when teams start coming time wasting, there's certainly no time wasting last night. I mean, you see that. Game in, game out at the Etihad. The amount of teams, even good teams, coming time waste. There's none of that with Leeds, and for me, that's great. And I do hope, as a team, that they do survive. And we need teams like Leeds in the Premier League for the atmosphere and everything. That's what we want, and I'm sure they'll be okay. But as I say, a bit disappointed for Leeds last night because they did get hammered. But I say they stuck to the philosophies and that's what they believe in, and that's how it should be.
Yeah, no, thank you for those words.
Yeah, we got a stat here on Leeds. I think you mentioned it earlier, though, Bernard. The 7-0 loss was their joint heaviest defeat in the histories of Football League / Premier League club in all competitions. It
was Stoke City, wasn't it? It was 8-1 in 1934. They lost to Stoke City, I believe. That was the record. Interestingly enough, that 1934 was when we beat Stoke at Main Road in front of the biggest crowd ever, 84,569 in the same year. Wow. So there's a coincidence here, but yeah, very good.
Yeah. I mean, since I've been sporting them, I've never suffered, a 7-0 loss. Obviously, 6-1 against Sheffield Wednesday a few years ago in the Championship. That was one which was a horrible.
That's very good, actually, because I mean, even the big teams usually lose by 9 or 10 goals. So I mean, that's not bad. that's pretty good going, to be honest with you. He's only losing by 7. It's fine, But take that. That's pretty good.
This is it. That's the history that you're talking about, Charles. This is what other teams tend to fail and see. That I'd rather have a Leeds United versus Manchester City than Bournemouth versus Manchester City. Where's the history in there? Where's the tradition in there? There's nothing there. Sorry to say, I'm not being. It's just the way it is. There are clubs who have got.
It's what fans want. It's what fans want to see, isn't it? I mean, no disrespect to Bournemouth, we've got a history. They've got a rich history. Every club's got a history. Yeah. So it's not all about winning trophies. Of course, it's not. But they're the game. These are the games that get the pulse racing, or should get the pulse racing. Yeah. The big name. Liverpool Leeds was all massive for me when I was a kid and stuff like that. Leeds, Chelsea, all those sort of things. I mean, I used to look forward to those as a child. Now I more or less have that much to worrying about City. I don't tend to watch a lot of the other teams, to be honest with you, when City aren't involved. But they're the games that get. If you were to watch a game, they're the games you want to watch. You don't disrespect to Bournemouth, and Bournemouth fans will watch all their games, but as far as we're concerned, in the big cities, if you like, the big cities of England, this is what we want. It's even perhaps bigger than the European games for us, and it has been for me, and it always will be. Those games are more important even than City Real Madrid. It's nice, it's fine. City Barcelona, it's nice and fine, but I'd rather have City Liverpool, City United, City Leeds. I'd rather have that every day of the week.
Honestly, I echo that as well. One day we'll play Barcelona as well, but we won't play Man City all the time.
Next, we'll talk about the fans, Bernard. Last night, on the 34th minute, when City made it 3-0, the fans were asking why the Leeds fans were still at the Etihad, reminding them the club beat them when they were shit as well. And the Poznan returned last night as well. Even the family stand got involved during that one. Thoughts on the fans last night, Bernard?
Yeah, I looked at my lad when the Poznan was going on in the family stand. I thought, what the hell's going on here? Like, that was before it emptied, about 10 minutes before the end, like it always does. But was it a school night? I'm not too sure in the family stand. That's always the worst one anyway. But I was a bit gobsmacked. But the atmosphere, it was wonderful. It was just like when we play United or when we play Liverpool. it was that atmosphere, and that's what I say. I was speaking to Jinder before the game. I remember some cracking games, atmospheres in the 60s and 70s. Not always nice and polite. A lot, obviously I was there in the 70s, and sometimes to get back to the coach alive or get back to your trainer alive was an achievement in those days. It's not quite as bad as that now, but there is a bit of nastiness which you'd expect. Young lads are lads, aren't they? Have a couple of beers, things are going to happen. But banter-wise, it was excellent last night. Hopefully, it didn't go off with any. I've not seen anything mentioned particularly after the game. You do hear things, of course. I sort of go straight back to Manchester, the city centre afterwards, so I never sort of see much. But hopefully, it was okay, and hopefully, the banter was kept to as it is. Have a banter in the ground, and then after the match, just go your own way and just accept what's happened, and that's how it should be. But great atmosphere, and as I say, it was up there with the atmosphere we have against a top team. So there you go, Leeds are a top team because it brought that sort of atmosphere to the Etihad. That's all we need to say.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good. It was good.
Yeah. We'll go to the referee then, Paul Tierney. We'll go to you first, Bernard. How do you think Paul Tierney did?
Yeah, I don't think he did anything wrong. I can't remember anything particular. I know. What's the Leeds guy's name? I can't remember his name now. The one who was playing out of position at the back, the one with his top knot. Yeah, he was having a bit of moan at him, there's nothing wrong with that about some of the decisions he was making early doors. But I mean, with a game like that, it's very hard to be controversial as a referee because not even if you do something wrong, it's not making a lot of difference to things, is it? So he would have found it very hard to have a bad game last night, and for the rubbish we have to put up with week in week out, it was okay. But as I said, that's probably if he struggled in that sort of game where obviously there wasn't at the end of the day things didn't count for much, it'd be a bad thing. But it was fine. It was okay.
Yeah, and Jinder, how do you think Paul Tierney did last night?
Yeah, just echo what Charles has said. It felt fine. I mean, I'd rather have him than the other guy who was flashing the board, like Dean. When I saw him, he was flashing up the board, wasn't he? So he is referee calamity, isn't he? So he's a bit of a clown. But it is what it is. The referee, I didn't really notice. There was that one little challenge where Rafinha, possible handball, they didn't then check. It's by the by. It's one of them things. Clutching at straws if you're going to blame the referee for a 7-0 defeat to you guys.
Yeah. Next up, we'll talk about the XG. 2.29 for us, scored 7. That's not what normally happens with us. We normally need about 15 XG to score 7. Leeds with 0.22. So I'm going to ask you both before we look at the table. We'll go to you first, Bernard. Who was your man of the match?
Yeah, well, it has to be KDB. Finally back to a bit of form, unfortunately for Leeds. He was finally at it. But it was a great team. It was a good overall team display last night. We'd be struggling to pick on a player at all. They were all excellent last night. They played as a team. But KDB would be my man in the match. He was sort of back to what we expect from KDB, and we've not seen that for a little while. So definitely in my mind.
Yeah, and Jinder, who was your man of the match?
Kevin De Bruyne was fantastic. Foden was fantastic. You had lots of men of the match, I thought. All your team, Gundogan, when he came on, he done well. Foden, even pains me to say Grealish because of my not so much love that I have for Villa. But,
what about the Leeds man? What about a Leeds man of the match, Jinder? Who do you think the Leeds man of the match was?
No, I would be saying injustice to Leeds that we didn't really have any man of the match yesterday. It's hurtful to say that, but Harrison could have. It wasn't a good day for us. So even Bielsa said that. So it's. Can't go against the gaffer if he reckons that it was a poor performance. It was.
Yeah. We'll look at the Premier League table then. We extended our lead at the top to 4 points. Liverpool and Chelsea still have to play. Leeds are still down in 16, 5 points clear of Burnley. Their match got postponed tonight against Watford.
Oh
So,
no.
so for COVID, so them two won't be playing anytime soon. I think it was in the Watford squad. The outbreak with COVID. The final thing we're going to talk about is actually Aguero. He officially retired today. Um, of course, our best memory of him is the goal against QPR in 2012. But if you had to pick another one after that, Bernard, what would you pick?
I think that Liverpool one, mate, from the angle. I mean, it was the tightest of angles. He sort of virtually hit the goal from the near the corner flag, didn't he? If you remember that one, I can't remember the year when it was, but I mean, I like the couple he got in his debut as well. I remember him coming against Swansea in his very first home debut. Came on as a substitute and he scored. He could have had an hat-trick in the space of about 30 minutes, but I think that sort of warned us. I did a little special vlog the other day. About 18 months ago, I've just republished it now about his debut and when he first came to City, his young, fresh-faced look, etc. But yeah, that Liverpool goal, but I special remember just his debut. I mean, when you score on your debut, they always have a little features on dream debuts, if you like. That's fantastic, isn't it? If you score a couple on your debut, that's brilliant. But just so many memories. Even facing up to that copper at was it Bournemouth? I'm not sure when it was now. Yeah. Even facing up to the copper when he was picking on one of the fans, we love him. He wasn't perfect. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, he had his moments. He could leave a foot in occasionally. I've seen little things on the internet. Oh well, what about when he did this? But hey, come on. Generally, a fantastic guy, a fantastic footballer, a real ambassador for football, and let's hope we see him back in some sort of way or other in the near future. And obviously, he's getting his statue next year, so let's see what that looks like compared to the other two guys that are up there already. But absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, we've got a few tweets from his past teammates before we wrap it up. Quickly, Aguero has the best minutes to goal ratio in Premier League history with 108. He gets a goal every 108 minutes with his current stats. Henry second with 122, Salah in third with 127, and Kane and Van Nistelrooy both have 128 goals a minute. Sergio Aguero's Man City statue outside the Etihad will be unveiled in 2022, like you said, standing alongside Vincent Kompany and David Silva. We've got a few tweets here from his former teammates. First one being Sterling. He said, "Happy retirement, my brother. Best of luck to you and your family for the future. Legend." Edin Dzeko said, "Thank you for everything." Phil Foden has said, "There are legends and then there are legends. What a career. Such an honour to have been your teammate. All the best, Sergio Aguero, and thank you for everything." Gabriel Jesus said, "Thank you for everything. We've lived together, Kun. It was a pleasure to play by your side. Congratulations on your beautiful and victorious career. Thanks." De Bruyne has said, "One of the best strikers ever. Want to wish you all the best for the future, legend. See you soon, Aguero." Caldoon said, "Sergio is quite simply the most ruthless striker in the history of the Premier League. It is extraordinary that his statistics, more reflective of two careers, are in fact those of a player whose time in the game was cut short." He also said, "His impact lives not only in the club that we are today, but in the club that we will be for many years to come. He has earned the adoration of the Man City family and the respect of the football family from all over the world." Next up, we got Kompany. He said, "An extraordinary striker that has retired from the game, but also a great teammate, a friend, and a unique personality. thanks and respect to an authentic Man City phenomenon. I wish you nothing but the best, legend. Laporte said he's going to miss Aguero, always with you. Jolien Lescott said, the coolest man in the box. Huge honour to call you a teammate and a friend. Best wishes, Sergio Aguero. Mahrez said, one of the best to do it. Thank you for everything. Take care. Take care. Next up is Mancini. He said, I'm so sad for Sergio, really. I wish him all the best. It's a pity to see him forced to leave football so early. I still remember how strongly I wanted to sign him at Man City. He's been incredible. Lionel Messi has had a couple of quotes. We live very beautiful moments and others that were not so. All of them made us unite more and be more friends. We are going to continue living them together with the great joy of lifting the Copa America, all you achieved in England. The truth is, it hurts a lot to see how you have to stop doing what you like the most. You will continue to be happy. You are a person who transmits happiness, and those of us who love you will be with you now. Now a new stage of your life begins. He also said, I'm convinced you are going to leave it with a smile. All the best in this new stage. I love you a lot, friend. I'm going to miss a lot being with you on the pitch and when we get together with the national team. Sane said, a true legend of the game. It was an honour to play with you, Sergio. I wish you all the best for the future. David Silva has said, friend, I know it has been a difficult and hard decision that you have had to make, but you leave like a legend. For me, it has been a pride to share so many moments together on and off the field. You are my partner in crime. Good luck in your new stage. And finally, Zach Steffen said, legend of the game. Thank you for everything. So that just shows.
Yeah. I mean, it is a shame. It is a shame we couldn't have won the Champions League for him. That's gonna, that's obviously, I've seen that comment made. Oh, where's your Champions League, mate? From fans, which is fair enough. That's how it is. I mean, that would have been a perfect end. But hey, he's not. He's still here, isn't he? I mean, I know he wanted to go back and play for Independiente, didn't he? So that was not going to happen now. Of course, it isn't. But yeah, it's a pity we couldn't have kicked. So that would have been a nice little fairy tale winning that champion. We should have won that Champions League. We let him down. I think generally players and Pep let him down a little bit. I think in that game, and I don't think the fans did. I think he was let down by other sources. It would have been nice, but life isn't a fairy tale, is it? All the time, he certainly did enough, didn't he? Let's be honest about it. And he will always be a legend to City fans, and obviously, as far as we're concerned, and hopefully, he give enjoyment to other fans as well.
Yeah. Jinder, would you say he's the best striker ever in the Premier League, or not for you?
No, a very good player. Really, really good goal scorer. Scored so many goals. That goal against the QPR, I remember it. And it's good that you picked Man United to the title. I was very happy for you. And it was nice to see Alex Ferguson get even more redder when that happened. So, look, I wish him all the best. Good player, solid player. And, I'm just glad that he's okay, kind of thing,
Yeah. It's all that matters. All that matters at the end of the day, isn't it? He'll get over it. He'll get over the fact he can't play football at that level or whatever again. But there's other compensations. I'm sure, we're not going to worry too much about professional football in this day and age while they move forward, are we? But and just think, guys. I mean, the amount of injuries he used to get as well. Imagine how many games and goals he would have scored if he hadn't. He always used to miss at least 2 or 3 months of a season. Even at his peak. So you can imagine what he would have achieved perhaps if he'd been fully fit or fit 80-90% of the time rather than 60-70%. Pretty amazing.
Yeah, good player, and he's Bielsa's countryman as well, and a fellow Argentinian. So You know, we were linked with him as well when he was going to make the move away from you guys. But
Yeah, because it was like rated, but he wasn't, he wasn't the best, was he? He wasn't the sort of, he's fantastic. It was a chance, wasn't it? As you say, if he went to a club, it was a chance that other teams would take on him, that he would progress as he did. And obviously, you get lucky sometimes, and sometimes you don't.
Yeah, absolutely. But wish him all the best in his.
He'll be fine. I say, I'm not gonna lose any sleep over what happens to him going forward. I just wish him all the best in his family and his obviously in the future. But hey, worse things are happening in the world. But all credit to him.
Yeah.
We'll wrap it up then. Just before we wrap it up, we'll go to you first, Jinder. Where can we find you, mate?
Well, first of all, thank you for everybody who joined us on here. Thank you to you guys, Charles, Chibs, wonderful YouTube channel of yours. You can find me for Leeds content at the El Loco Leeds football channel. Please come over, subscribe. I try to give very good opinions and try to keep it level-headed. It is a Leeds channel after all, but try to give honest and fair sort of reviews. I don't do too much of them, but I do try and get as many as I can do. But yeah, find me at the El Loco Leeds football channel and on Twitter and Facebook. You can join our Facebook group, Leeds Plus, one of the largest Facebook groups on Facebook. Thank you.
You still there, Charlie?
Yeah, sorry about that. And Bernard, where can we find you?
You know me. Just get me on Twitter, and you can follow all my links to my YouTube channels on City, of course, the Citizen channel, spelt with an I, not with a Y, not this modern spelling. And of course, if you're into movies, guys, Jinder, if you like movies and TV and dramas, I do little things on that as well. So if you follow me at Bernard Dineen, at Charles Dineen on Twitter, all the links. So if you just put my name in any search engine, I'll pop up all over the place anyway. So just put Dineen in DINNN, you'll find me. There's not many of me about, but thanks again, Charlie, and it's great to meet Jinder tonight.
Likewise, absolute pleasure.
Yeah, hopefully we can get Jinder back on when we're at Elland Road for Leeds.
Oh, when they get the revenge on us.
Well, let's see. Let's just hope it's a good game and we get on with it, kind of thing.
So we'll wrap it up there. Thank you all so much for watching. You can find me on Twitter at MCFC Hibs and subscribe here, Dugout Daily on YouTube. And we'll see you all later. Take care and peace.